Yo, what's up internet? My name is Anthony, and I wasn't really planning on making an NBA video until the playoffs started, but I was looking forward to tonight's Warriors vs Spurs game. That was until I heard the news that Iguodala, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green are all going to be resting for tonight's game. The NBA really needs to stop making back-to-back games next year. The second nights of back-to-backs are generally sloppy and where teams rest their players. Now, there are really only a few teams actually worth watching in the NBA. Warriors, Spurs, Thunder, Rockets, and the Cavs. And when these teams play each other, they have to make sure they're not on back-to-backs. Heck, I'd be okay if they gave each team 2 days off before playing each other. With that being said, tonight we have the Spurs versus the Warriors on NBA Saturday primetime. But the problem is Iguodala, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and even Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge are all not going to be playing. This is the top two teams in the West with only a game and a half separating them, but both teams don't seem to care that much, especially the Warriors. Now, I'm sure the Spurs would have rested their players as well if they weren't already injured. The Warriors just went on a 5-game road trip, came back home for one game, and are back out on the road for a back-to-back. I don't care at all about the previous 6 games. I only cared about this one in the back-to-back against the Spurs. The problem is, it's a back-to-back. Therefore, it makes sense to rest their players, and that's what they did. In the grand scheme of things, both the Warriors and the Spurs want to win a championship. These regular season games are relatively meaningless aside from seeding. I think we can all agree that the regular season and the beginning of the playoffs really drag on a little. They don't really start mattering until the conference championships and the finals. We already knew in the beginning of the season that the Cavs were going in from the East, and the Warriors had a good chance of going in from the West, with the smallest chance of the Spurs and the Clippers getting in. Especially now with KD out, it makes this game way more interesting. But with it being a back-to-back, they just botched the scheduling. Now, I know Steve Kerr can choose to play his players, but in their second game in 24 hours, and with the championship in mind, it made way more sense to rest his players than to actually play them. I'm sure if Greg Popovich was in this exact same situation, he would also choose to rest his players. Dear NBA, we gotta eliminate these back-to-backs. They're ruining the NBA regular season. I know you don't want to show preferential treatment towards certain teams, but there are really only like 5 teams actually worth watching, especially when they play each other. We need to eliminate back-to-backs in general, and especially when they play each other. Heck, I'd be okay if you gave them 2 days off. That would make these primetime games so much more worth watching. Bottom line, there's a reason that teams rest their players on second nights of back-to-backs. We gotta make sure this doesn't happen again, especially next season.